Well, well, well. We're about to hit a critical mass. And what usually takes about 2 to 3 months, we've done in 2 to 3 days. We're nearing about 60 permanent notes. It's been since what, Wednesday? We should hit 100 by Sunday, which is what I want. I want to hit at least 100 by Sunday. And I think everyone needs to understand that there's a sense of vulnerability in regards to allowing other people into the only place we don't allow them. And that's inside our mind. Because that's exactly what we're doing when we're creating a permanent note is as we're processing the fleeting notes and the literature notes, we're thinking. And I think it's important to sort of let go of trying to control that. And I know when I was doing the permanent notes, on my own, it was, I felt that. I felt that resistance, even me. So it's natural. And I was doing my best to pinpoint what that was, and it was really that. There is no more vulnerable thing than to allow someone into the only place that no one is physically allowed to be in. That's in our minds. And I think that's the beauty of all this. Because anyone that's gotten to this point have all gone through the exact same rigorous process. And, we separated a lot of wheat from the chaff. And I still have people messaging me, wanting to just, get the answers, but I can't just get the answers with something like this. We're 28 days in. Today's the 28th day. And yeah, it's like once you learn how to ride a bicycle, you don't need to learn it again. Let's dive in. Okay, this is the 26th. I don't know what's going on with this video. I've uploaded it like 3 times. It's not my best work anyways, so I'm uploading it again on YouTube. It is what it is. What can you do? I'm going to go to the 25th because I know I need to catch up on some things. So I'm going to go and click on this. Oh, what happened? Let's go and click on the 25th. There we go. And I'm just going to close everything. Let's close this too. Simplify it a little bit. Okay, so green lights means good to go. Yellow lights means there's still something needs to be added. And let's just start from the bottom here. Okay, AMEER. Let's take a look. Excellent work. I'm just going to go and expand this out. Phenomenal work. Look at this. I mean, goodness. It's beautiful. Summarize at the top. Literature notes, same thing. I know BART was asking something about changing up the tripod structure, and I'm going to reiterate that this is simply a lightweight structure. And if there's more complexity that you need for your personalized Zettelkasten, I want to hit the critical mass first. I want everyone to understand the power of insight with notes that you're not familiar with, or that really what I'm doing, I'm artificially creating an environment of after you hit a critical mass where you don't know all the notes. And that's the power of this, is because once you get to like 100 notes, it's like you don't remember all the 100 different things you wrote. I mean, you remember it, but it's not like you remember writing everything out. And so we're sort of artificially creating this this feeling of what a critical mass of notes is. But there's this thing that happens when you start traversing through the Zettelkasten, where everything that you've been learning up to these over these last 28 days just clicks, and it's just like click, 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 and it's almost like that. How do you relate this? It's like everything just, and like all the ducks are aligned in a row, all the stars have aligned, everything that you've been working towards all of a sudden clicks, and then you take a step back and you're like, wow. And that happened for me when I was doing the Threadapalooza, where I basically, all I did was I created a 100 tweet storm without knowing what I was going to tweet about. I mean, I had an outline before I even started it, but then I just threw away the outline and I started completely from scratch because I wanted to test this. And it was in that moment where I realized like something cemented everything. And I want you to get to that. You're going to get to that point this week. You will. I mean, by week 6. I almost look at it like this next week is having that sort of insight. And then the following week, or maybe halfway through next week, is going to be, okay, I understand that's the power of Zettelkasten. How can I do this on my own? How can I personalize it? And this is where all the daily habits that you've been tracking are going to come into play. We're going to have to talk about, all the different, JavaScript or CSS codes, or I don't really know exactly, like Zotero syncing and everything like that, readwise syncs. We need to come up with this personalized plan that's going to work for you after we're done with the book club. I digress. AMEER, let's take a look. Reference notes, fantastic work. I mean, I don't have to say anything. This is phenomenal. A note-taking diversity. Let's take a look. Let me bring this over a little bit. Look at all these notes. Bam. You want a note-taking? So it goes, I love this. Learning. You see the top level? Look at the CSS bullet points. Learning, understanding, freedom, diversity. That's so interesting. And then it has all the different, this is perfect. I don't have to say anything. This is phenomenal work. And this is what I love about it. It's I think Sonke talks about it in the book. It's like, we want to make it so much more complex. It's like, why? Why would you want to make it more complex? The complexity is going to show up. Don't make it more complex than you have to. Okay, expand it all. I mean, obviously, you know what you're doing here. I mean, do I even need it? I mean, look at this. Phenomenal. And then when you don't need to see it, you don't need to see it. I mean, the reason that we don't do colors, too, it's going to help because you don't want anything to slow you down when you're traversing the Zettelkasten. Let's take a look. Curiosity. And you can have multiple, like you can have similar indexes. You could have curiosity on one branch over here, and then on a completely different branch, curiosity over here. So this one goes learning, understanding, curiosity. Makes sense. I'm going to get rid of this one. Excellent. Phenomenal work. I mean, this is, I love this. I also look at it like, if something works, it ought to be teachable. Like, seriously. If something really works, then it has to be where you can explain it to anybody. Because if you can't, then it doesn't really work. Like, if I know how to ride a bicycle, then I ought to be able to show someone else how to ride a bicycle. And eventually they'll get it, but, Let's keep going here. Okay, this is AMEER again. Yes, perfect. I mean, look at this. And I love how all of this comes into play later. You all don't even understand this yet. You're not going to understand it until you're like looking for something. Or not, no, when you're not even looking for something. It's when you're not looking for something, and then all of a sudden you open one of these up, and you're like, whoa. And remember, those are notes that you wrote. And remember, now your notes are no longer a graveyard. Hold on. Like, are you sitting down? Oof, jeez. Okay, screen's recording. This is recording. Everything's going. Everything's a go right now. AMEER, you're crushing it. Like, I don't know what else to say. Intentionality. Let's take a look. Boom. Look at this. Writing, producer, intentionality. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna get rid of the period. Because it's just what I do. Green light. I love how, like, The permanent note is not the final. Permanent, what we're doing, we're not just, like, the point isn't to have a permanent note. The point is this, the connections, pursuit and structure with intentionality. That's what we're after. That's the shebang. That's the whole shebang. Because it's only when we connect our notes do they stay alive. Okay. Okay, let's take a look again here. Note taking. Let's take a look. Do I even need it? Obviously, you know what you're doing. Note taking. Let's take a look. I think this is the one that was sort of wonky. There we go. It has a period at the end. Okay, so this one goes learning. Oh, let's take a look. Look at the CSS. Learning, understanding, note-taking. Perfect. And then you have linked references. Again, don't be scared to, I mean, this is perfect right here. Structure twice. Look at that. Okay, let's go back. JASMINE. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to expand everything for you. Okay. I saw a block here. I'm going to get rid of this block. Okay. Yeah, JASMINE, like I was telling everyone else, I mean, you know what you're doing. Look at this. This is phenomenal work. Look at all these abstractions. This is beautiful. I guess my point is, I mean, that's the best part. By the time you get to this level, you're like, oh, I know what I'm saying now. I mean, I've written everything I need to write. Yeah, in regards to the colors, we don't need the colors anymore just because it's only going to get in the way once we start moving forward into traversing the Zettelkasten. So, I mean, obviously it was meant to be like training wheels, but yeah, you can take the training wheels off. I mean, you completely understand the process. Reference note as well. Oh, what I would do is I would actually add, I'm going to go and put a little marker here. Add a summary right here of, or no, actually no, this is the reference note. What you want to do is, okay, you see this? This is a Kindle highlight, right? Okay, page 27. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and do it for you, just because we do have that page. Imagine if we went through. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Negative. Imagine. What I'm doing is I'm searching for the fuzzy searching for the block, and there we go. So this is the top hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this block reference, JASMINE, and then I'm going to come in here. And the thing is, what I want is I want the reference note here. I want a link to the like whatever the source is. I don't want to have to click this open to get to that source. If I want more information, it's down in here, like the text. But if all I want to do is click on this and it'll open up in another tab, like a URL, that's what I want. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the top level parent block, just like you did with the other summaries. I'm going to do command, I don't know what, it's on a Mac, it's Command K. And what that's going to do, it's going to make a link, right? And let's see if there's a code link, maybe. Code link, is there a link? Negative. URL, no. Again, if you do Command K, it's going to create these brackets and parentheses, right? And then this is going to be the text. And so I'm going to do chapter 2.1, writing a paper step by step, right? And that's the sort of chapter heading. And because we have the book inside of Rome, what I can do is I can copy this block reference like I'm going to do, and inside the parentheses here, I'm going to paste it. And so now I have the block reference pasted inside the parentheses, and within the single brackets, I have the title here. And so if I hit escape twice, now what you do is you have the link to the URL or link to the source material right there on this parent level block. And that's what we want to do. I'm just going to keep that I feel like you're going to understand it. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's go ahead and open up permanent notes. Ideas. Let's take a look. gotta be a faster way to figure out the search. There we go. Okay. Structure, working environment, trust, ideas. Structure, working environment, trust, ideas. Perfect. Trusting in the ideas for a work environment that provides structure. I mean, I can see the thematic connection. Perfect. I would add more. I would add more relevant notes. Let's do writing ideas. That fits. Conceptual clarity of ideas. Why not? Again, be liberal with this. Structure of ideas you already have. That's a different structure. Let's do this structure too. I like having like both of them in there, because then it's like these will take you down two different threads of conversation. Structure, working environment structure. I think this what is this? AMEER. I think this could be a little bit stronger. It could be a little bit more clearer. Anyways, we'll keep going. I think I'll get to it. Again, see, this is the thing. It's like now there's so many permanent notes. I can't read all of this. Like on the slip box. I mean, there's no way you can read through all these, right? All these permanent notes. And so that's why you had the index. The index was sort of like pointing you towards, okay, I'm going to point you towards learning, right? And then you would go down this path. And what I'm saying is in Rome, oh, by the way, I also want to mention that, like, this isn't Rome agnostic. Is that how you say it? Like, you have Athens, which is an open source Rome clone. You have logsec, which is basically workflowy smashed together with Rome. So it's the technology that Rome offers, like it's not just Rome. Like you can do this exact same thing in Athens, which is open source. You can do this exact same thing in logsec. I just prefer Rome because of the community, and I through my conversations with Connor, I believe in him and his team, just because of how he treats other people, right? So just understand, like one of the hindrances is thinking like, okay, well, is this tool going to be around 5 years from now? And it's an investment of time, energy, and efforts. And what I'm saying is, worst case scenario, Rome gets bought out or whatever, you still have other people. Like this technology of the block is the reason that this works. And it could like if Notion figured it out and they had at the block level, they won't. But if they had the block level referencing, then you can do this anywhere. It's just that Rome was the first one to introduce the block, or you introduce it to the world, I guess, the one that sort of took off. I mean, maybe they weren't the first, but it's this idea of the block as the granularity, and that technology, it's almost like Excel spreadsheets might have started it, right? But you have Google Docs now, or Google Sheets, and then you have, Airtable. Like everyone can build off of that technology, but the technology is all it is the block. So you can transfer this entire simple, lightweight structure to any other tool that comes after this. If that makes sense. And that alleviated a lot of the burden, because when I was thinking about this and developing this, that was one of the things I was scared about. I don't want to just invest all this time and energy and then it gets bought out and they're gone, especially in the tech sphere. But what it is, it's the technology of just the block. That's all that matters. How it looks and how it feels doesn't matter. It's the block. I hope that makes sense. Again, going through here, ideas, diversity of ideas. Let's go and throw that in there. Why not? Happiness ideas about happiness, and the beginning of ideas. Again, I just like throwing, like that's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's like 9. It's fine. Most of mine have about 9, 10. Because what I want to do is I want to stumble upon these later. That's the most important thing. This is why we're not trying to get the permanent notes. We're trying to connect these notes. I hope that's coming clear. Great job, Jasmine. Let's take a look. I think I've got them all. Yeah, look at that. Caught up. Okay, let's go to the 26th. I'm going to close this in the sidebar. Oh, we're going to hit a critical mass. Oh, you're all going to see it. Oh, you're all going to feel it. Oh, look, I have one more. Mr. Rick Krause. I can't forget about Mr. Rick Krause. Let's take a look. All right. Look at this. This is beautiful. I'm so proud. Look at this. Ay, ay, ay. Rick's been sending me emails with these beautiful quotes, and I look at it like every single one of them relates to like the previous day's video. And it's like, that's how you know you understand something. When you can relate it to something else. And each one of the quotes are like a banger, you know? It's just like, oh, that's exactly what this is about. And yeah, I'm just grateful that, you know, my crazy personality hasn't shooed anyone off. I mean, I know I get intense sometimes, but I mean, look at this. This is the asset that you give to this community, Rick, is phenomenal, and you have to know that. Boom, boom. Look at that. And a link to it. And if I open it up, look at that. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look. I'm going to get rid of this little F. I don't know what that is. Let's shift click on permanent notes. Okay, so this one kind of looked like it got funky. I think it's because you got to put this in brackets. So relevant notes, just do that. Hashtag's perfect, and then the CSS will show you that you did it right. It's sort of like one of those like inherent conventions. And I like the CSS because it looks like a button. Like there's something about, what do you call that? Design, like intuitive designing. You know, it's like those doors when it has like a handle like coming to you and you think you need to like pull it towards you, but it's actually a push. You know what I mean? Like, it's effective designing. Writers, okay, where is this? Conceptual clarity. Look at this, boom. So it goes, writing, conceptual clarity. I mean, that is phenomenal work. Look at this, and all the, boom. You could probably even add more, but why? It's beautiful. We'll let the notes that come after this add more to this. You know, there's no reason to go back to your notes. I'm just gonna double check everything. Okay. Okay, 26th. Now we're in it. We're in it to win it. Okay. I'm gonna go and close everything. So that's a trick, by the way. What you do is you hover over to this side, and this is the little mini bar, and they'll open and close everything. Or you can do it here. Okay, we're just gonna start from the top. What are you gonna do? BART, let's go. Okay, boom. I'm gonna expand everything here. Look at this, easy, easy. I would add the link to the metaphors we live by, page 3. Maybe like add a link. Maybe do Command K and do like link to maybe URL, right? This is easy. What are you doing here? Oh, you're bolding it. I don't think you need to do all that. The thing is, when it's, I mean, I'm gonna get rid of this bullet. I think that's the wrong bullet. Okay, so I see what you did here. If I close it down, I mean, it works. I don't think you need to bold it, but okay, let me just take a look at your fleeting notes. This is great. Oh my goodness. Love it. Look at this. And it's collapsed. I don't think you need to bold it, honestly. I mean, I kind of get what you did it because you want to be able to see it here. But what happens is, congruency-wise, it's like you don't want anything to stand out for you when you're going through the permanent notes. I think just because it's a sort of convention, at least for this shared graph, you can do it on your own personal graph, but at least for this shared graph, I'm going to get rid of the bold here. This phenomenal work. Look at this. Same thing, I'm just going to get rid of the bold. because then it's just there, right? But if I close it, it's not like it's taking away anything. Really, the most important things that we want to have highlighted is going to be any of the block references in yellow, and then the permanent note in blue. And this is going to help because our eyes will go there when we're traversing down the Zettelkasten, which will make sense Sunday. You got it. I mean, I love how it's a child block underneath with the highlight. Boom, good to go. Let's go ahead and open this in the sidebar. Okay, metaphor. Okay, this one right here, this is what I would do. You have the hashtag on the wrong side. So this is what I'm gonna do. See on relevant notes you don't have a hashtag, but on metaphor you have a hashtag. I'm just gonna cut that one, and I'm gonna switch places with that one, and then watch what happens, okay? Boom. Money. Metaphor, let's go and find this. Basically, if you wanted to, what you do is you can create a page called an index, right? And all you do is you just add all of these sort of hashtags, the ones that you want to sort of stumble upon again. And then basically, if you want to have like, because all the notes in the Zettelkasten are all over the place, you're not structurally like figuring them out. What you do is you create another page called, say, productivity or something, right? And then in that productivity page, what you do is you add all the hashtags into that one page. And so everything that's related, so this is like once you have like 200 notes. And then everything you put into that productivity page, you have links back to the Zettelkasten and where they're located, because you don't want to structure it inside the Zettelkasten with a top-down structure. But if you want to have a page that's just meant for productivity, and then you link the indexes, all the indexes that deal with productivity into that, then when you want to jump into your Zettelkasten and you have 400, 500 notes, you don't know where anything is. And so what you do is, actually we should probably do that too. But that way, I hope that makes sense. So that way what you're able to do is sort of, you have a lead in to the Zettelkasten. But it doesn't mean that you have an entry, it's like another layer of an entryway into the Zettelkasten, because the index here itself, like social expectations, is one entryway into the Zettelkasten, right? And then if you have another page that just says like productivity, and then social expectations happens to be in there, then you have a second level of entry into the Zettelkasten, if that makes sense. And because everything's on the daily notes page, you have a GPS to where you are at all times. That's what's important, because you always want to know where you are in the Zettelkasten. You don't ever want to get lost. You don't want to get lost in the notes. You always want to know where you are contextually. Where did this idea come from? What else was going on at that time? How is that linked to these other notes? That's the idea. Metaphor. Let's go and find this. Again, it's a simple, lightweight structure, and what you do with it after that, once you master it, once everything sort of, you have that magic like, kshink, 100% understand. And then it's like everyone's going to get to that point. And then it's like, what it is then it's like, you don't need anyone to teach you what to do. You know exactly what to do. And if you want to figure it out this way, and you want to do this, like a project Zettelkasten, once you know how to do a Zettelkasten, a project Zettelkasten is the same thing, but just without references. And then you go, well, what if I wanted to do like goal setting? You can do goals. You can do quarterly goals the same way. Nest it down, link it back to the block reference. But again, you have to understand the simple, lightweight structure first. But then what you do with it is all you. Okay, I'm looking for metaphor. There we go. Okay, let's take a look. Cognitive science metaphor. Perfect. And then everything, I love this. Metaphor writing, metaphor context, metaphor ideas, metaphor serendipity, metaphor understanding, metaphor thinking. It's beautiful. Green light. Let's go. Let's go. This is so easy. This is so easy for everyone here. Let's take a look. Brother Spirit, shall we take a look? Okay. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, already. Look at this. Boom. Okay, I'm noticing the same thing. I see why you're doing it. I just don't know if it's going to be effective with the bold. I mean, what I'm talking about is the bold. I'm just going to get rid of it for now, okay? And I hope you're going to understand why. I mean, my reasoning is that when everything is closed, you don't want anything to stand out. All you want is the most important information to stand out. And if I go into the permanent notes, and it's like I go in here, and I click on any of these, it's like, you see how this is highlighted? This is highlighted because if you look at, this is because it's a shared graph, I just haven't clicked into it, right? So this is intentionality, right? And intentionality of judgment. So what I've done is I've clicked on judgment because this is a permanent note for judgment, but it's linked to intentionality. And these are all the linked references for judgment, right? And so what I do is I go down here and this shows me the location in the link reference. And then in the blue, it's the permanent note. And that's all I need. And these should be closed, if that makes sense, right? And then anything, so if I had this bold, it would sort of like, oh, it's jarring. It's like, no, and then it's like, I have, like the bold forces me to look at it. And the idea is you don't want to be forced to look at anything. What you want to be able to do is go, this is what's fascinating, right? So I'll close this, I'll open it again. I'll go to judgment, and then I'll look through the other linked references for judgment. That's like a third level of just jumping in anywhere you want. Because then I click on this, and what happens? I jump to the block, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, it shows me the location of happiness. So look at this, like, you're on this thread of conversation. You clicked on this permanent note, but then you saw the other linked references to judgment. And then if you click on happiness, which is on a completely different branch, you have, and then look, look. You see this? With one click, you have all the linked references for happiness. Now you've got all the linked references for judgment over here. And then it's just like, look at this. And then you can start traversing over here. And then you go, where did this come from? Okay, this is great. And then you go back over here. Where did this come from? Oh, well, look, I want to go to listening. And then you jump to the block. And look, it has more linked references on a completely different branch. And then you go down here. And then look. It has, look at this. It has all the link references. Someone did this wrong. Who is this? CRISTIAN? I don't know what you did. But anyways, right? And what you do is you just jump into it. And you jump to the next thing. And then say you want to go to change. Jump to the block. It has link references here. You just keep traversing. And if I have this bold, what happens is, you see how, this is why I'm keeping everything very simple. Because all you want, by the way, this is just because it's a group sharing, right? When you're on your own personal Zettelkasten and it's not going to be highlighted like that. It has only the most pertinent information that you need. First off, the location and the link references of this permanent note change, right? And then in the blue, it's going to be the permanent note itself. And then basically, these are just going to be there to show you that the references are there. And then if I need to go in, I can jump in and there's more information. But if I don't, good to go. And then I close it out. And I just keep jumping. That's the idea. That's the magic. I think I gave away Sunday's lesson, but that's the magic, dude. Okay, I don't know why the linked references are showing up here for change. This is interesting. I just want to take a look real quick. See, I don't know where is this? I think I know what it is. There we go. What happens if I get rid of that period? I'm looking for the other one. Okay, this is Wilbert. For some reason, change isn't coming up. Okay. Oh, because he changed what it was. Change only happens when the new work is part of. Okay, so I see what you did. You have to change it on both sides though, because if you don't change it on both sides, then it's not connected. So I'm going to delete this. It looks like, and see now this is how it's supposed to be. So basically, sorry you had to watch all that, but yeah, I think you should see it too. You should see how things are connected. You should only have two linked references. The daily notes page of where it's located when you added it to the daily notes page, which gives you a GPS of when and where things happened, right? Because then if I go on the 25th, you can see what else was going on that day. Think about that. It gives you even more context of what was going on that day. I digress. And it shows you the location in the permanent notes page. Okay, let's keep going. I'm having fun, can you tell? Brother Spirit, actually I was on there. Let me finish this. Sorry. Okay, so confirmation bias. Same thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this hashtag. I know it's weird because it's like, wait a second, but it's a hashtag over here, but it's not over here. It's only because of the CSS. So if I get rid of that, now it's got this sort of button look to it. Confirmation bias, perfect. Writing, conceptual clarity, judgment, confirmation bias, perfect. Look at all this. This is beautiful. Phenomenal work, brother. I've really been thinking about how, Ernesto, let's take a look. I've really been thinking about how, like, just how all of this has happened. It's so out of my hands. So out of my hands. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm just showing up. If that makes sense. It's very interesting. I don't know why I do it. I just have a feeling that this is what I need to be going through in this season of my life. So it's what I'm doing. Ernesto, let's take a look. Okay, phenomenal work. Let's take a look. Okay. I just haven't seen your work yet, so I'm taking a look. This is great. Having a creative idea. Okay, so if I close that, boom, it's good to go. Same thing, Ernesto. It's like we don't need to. You don't. I mean, you obviously understand what you're doing here. You don't need to add the second pass, first pass stuff anymore. You can take the training wheels off. You completely understand it. Let me just read these two because I don't see any other notes underneath this. I'm not saying that you have to. I mean, if this, let's go in. Great job on this, by the way. It's in the shift. Boom, it's right there, right? So what I'm seeing, just tell me if I'm wrong here. What I'm seeing is that something you highlighted this paragraph, right? And then you did your pass on this, and as you were doing through this pass, you were like, I get it. And so by the time you got to the literature notes, you were like, well, I could explain this in one sentence. And I feel like it's because this paragraph just wasn't as deep. But if you do get to a paragraph and it does get deep, then you do have this option of making a child block here and then abstracting more here, more abstractions here, if that makes sense. And then you can open and close it just like you did here. But I feel like I'm reading it. It's like obviously you understand it. Shift click on that. Perfect. Great job. I'm going to go and shift click on the permanent notes. Let's take a look. Same thing. I know it's kind of weird, but again, the CSS, it's going to change this just to brackets, right? And I'm going to get rid of the hashtag. And then it makes the CSS. Now, on this page, it is hashtag, but just on your daily notes page, it's not a hashtag. Let's go and take a look. Skill. Perfect. Thinking skill. Look at that. Zettelkasten excels as a tool because it augments a human cognitive weakness. We need to have such a fluent skill with our tools, and to the point they become almost a second nature so we can naturally flow when working. I mean, to me, I can write an article on this. I would add more, Ernesto. I would add more linked references. Just because, skill, like, how about this? Beginning of skill. Why not? Right? Happiness of skill, risks of skill, fear of skill, diversity of skill, freedom of skill. Let's add freedom. Freedom of having skills. right? Tool, you already have tool. Let's keep going. Let's go far away. Let's go far away from the permanent note. Like the Zettelkasten skill is over here, right? It's way down, it's here. I'm gonna go all the way to the top. I'm gonna go far away. Let's go writing skills. Why not? Let's add it in there. And again, all I'm doing is looking at the indexes real quick because I know that the index is a thumbnail of this. Skill and judgment. Like it takes a skill to judge and see what's worth doing or not. Pursuit, skill of pursuit of a skill. Look at that. Because then when I open this up, what happens is I go pursuit learning, pursuit frailty, pursuit fear, pursuit control, pursuit skill. Where does this lead? And then with one click, you have all the information there. Boom, 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 boom. And this is why you don't need the colors. It's distracting. You want to have it as least, like the only thing that you want to have, it's scope. That's really what it is. Like it's frictionless. That's what you want. You want things to be as frictionless as possible. Phenomenal work, Ernesto. I'm going to go green light. Let's keep going. Jeez. Brother Spirit, let's take a look. Expand all. Okay, look at this. Okay, I don't know what you did here. Okay, I'll get to that. Let's take a look. Look at this. Again, I'm just going to bring it up. And get rid of the bold. And then, I mean, BART was doing the same thing. I'm just going to, I just prefer where it's as frictionless when you're scanning through as possible. But I kind of see why you all are doing it, so that because you want to be able to separate this from this. But yeah, this is great. Reference note, look at that. And this is great because what happens is because you don't want to have to open up the books app, right? You just want to take a screenshot because this gives you all the information that you need. So you want it as simple as possible. So that's why. But then you can hide it. The thing is, you don't always want to see that, you know. And this is going to get to the URL. It looks like, or to the quote itself. But that's the point of having these little screenshots because you don't want to switch contexts, right? I don't want to switch apps when I'm doing my work because then it's like jarring. So if you can have everything in there, that's what the screenshot is. What we're doing is we're setting ourselves up for success. And then with one click, it's behind that block. It's only when you need it. Okay, so it looks like you have willpower here twice. I'm going to go and get rid of this. I have a feeling that was just missed it. Shift click on permanent notes. Let's take a look. Look at this. Structure, pursuit, willpower. I love the different styles of notes. Oops. I love the different styles of notes. I mean, all of our references are coming from all over the place. I really feel like this is the future of knowledge building, by the way. Willpower, decision making, willpower thinking, willpower change, willpower Zettelkasten, willpower simple, willpower motivation, willpower trust. I would also look for like opposites, like willpower. I don't know. I don't really see one for willpower, but do you know what I mean? Like also look for differences. Like if I have happiness, then I would also look for fear or sadness. You know what I mean? Not just things that are happiness. Like I like stumbling upon notes that I wouldn't have been able to stumble upon without the Zettelkasten. Does that make sense? Great work, brother. Green light. Oh, we got the critical mass coming. I can feel it. I can feel the critical mass coming. Mr. Rick Krause, shall we take a look? I have to say, I've never heard of any of this stuff. I'm not a, what do you call it? A studious person, I suppose, but look at this. Easy for you. This is too easy. My only suggestion would be, why not go deeper? into the abstractions. Like, this to me is like, oh, I would want to know more of this thinking. And maybe, you know, Rick, maybe you already understand this, you know, so you don't need to, you can just ask the question and it's already going to, like, all the synapses are going to be there. But I feel like if we want, you know, maybe even in, you know, personal Zettelkasten, and it's like, you know, if you want to be able to pass this down to, you know, your loved ones, it's like you want them to see how you got to these ideas. And it's like, even though this makes sense in your brain, it's like, if you can give us more breadcrumbs in regards to how you got to how you figured out that question or figured out that answer, you know, it allows it, so it's like it's the autobiography, you know, and you want to tell the full picture of that intellectual autobiography. Because obviously, I mean, look, I mean, this is dense work, and it's just like, I almost feel like if you went deeper into this, that it would change the structure of this summary. I'm just reading it. And this needs to be, okay, so this needs to be on the page. I don't know why it's not on the page. This is what I'm gonna do. So this text right here, copy that, and that's gonna go there on the block. I'm gonna get rid of that. And then what you do is you open and close that reference note there. And then it's like boom, 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 it's ready to go. Let's shift click on this. Cognitive science. I think I saw this one at the bottom. There we go. Cognitive science. Top level parent block. All the top level parent blocks, I'm just going to make it header 3. Is there any other ideas that you can relate this to? Let's go far away. How about the purpose of cognitive science? Right? Because when you click on purpose of cognitive science. How about confirmation bias? Why not? All right. Video got cut off. Technology. At least this one will probably be uploaded. The other one, I don't know what the hell happened with that one. Again, Rick, just taking a look here. Again, I'm just dragging things over. Having ideas that have any sort of relationship from trust to cognitive science. It's this idea of what we're not even doing anything for us now. What we're doing is we're setting things up for our future selves, and that's what this is about. It's not about, you know, there's no pinnacle here. It's this idea of let's spread these seeds out now, so when we want to go down the path for our future selves or for future people that want to see how we thought about things, it's like then we're allowing them the ability to sort of swing from the next branch to the next branch, but then to be like transported to a completely different forest. That's what we want. We want to have a forest, and it's just like, woof, where am I? That's like, whoa, that's like metaphysical. That's like, ooh, that's kind of crazy, dude. Cognitive science. Yeah, and fear of cognitive science. I don't know. Why not? Let's bring it in. How about the risk of cognitive science? I don't know. Sounds cool. Green light. Again, it's part of this sort of, I think there's a certain joy every time you complete a permanent note and you add it to the Zettelkasten. And this is why I do this timestamp, because it's like these, what it does, it's like these 15 minutes to 45 minutes of like intense concentration, and then by the end of it, you get to this point where you're like, yes, I completed something. Even on the most base levels, that's kind of like what it's about. BART, let's take a look. Let's expand all. Boom. Boom. Oh, look at this. Now you changed it. Now you changed it to without bold. Look at this. I love this. And this is, you know, and then and just like Rick, it's like when I look at BART's work, it's like I can follow this up, because he's sort of, what he's really doing, like what BART's doing is lovely, because what he's doing, he's writing about himself and his ideas and his thoughts, and this is the vulnerability of all of this. I admit that I didn't see this before like that. Like this, I love that you stopped. A lot of times when I'm doing a processing of leading, I'll stop once I have that aha moment, because it's like that I figured out why this. I could be reading a book, and then why does, of all the paragraphs, of all the gin joints, right, she ends up at this bar, right? It's like, of all the paragraphs in this book, why was this one glimmering in the light as I walked by? And if you can abstract out, boom, and then you go back up to the top, summarize it. Because what it is, it's like you build up this momentum to figure it out, and all of a sudden you figure it out, and you go, aha, then you hurry, and then after I get that aha moment, then it's like, well, I get it. If I want to abstract more, I can, but then I go back up to the summary, and I quickly summarize why, you know what I mean? Because I have this momentum. I have this momentum from processing the fleeting notes, and then I get to the aha, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And I throw it up on the fleeting note summary, and then I know what's inside. And then I move on to the literature notes, and this is fantastic. Phenomenal work. Boom, it's all right there. Reference notes there. Permanent notes, open, shift, click. Boom, let's look at freedom. Look at this. Boom, let's take a look. It goes, CSS is showing me learning, understanding, freedom. I love all this. Look at this. Freedom writing, freedom structure, freedom learning, freedom note-taking, freedom fear. Fear of freedom. I love this. Look at this. This is great. Freedom of social expectations, freedom of change. Wow. And that's what, like, you get it. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it so well. But just wait until you see how it all works. Wait till you get to that point where you're just like, what the fuck? And that's when you traverse. That's when you go forward and you don't know what you're looking for, and then you find something, you're like, whoa, I never thought about that. From the notes that you wrote. Think about that. And then it's like, and then it's there. The Zettelkasten is there. It's there. It's not going anywhere. You don't have to think about this anymore. You don't have to juggle these 7 plus or minus 2 things in your head anymore. It's there in a simple, lightweight structure with the granularity at the block. I'm excited today. I think because I see what you guys are about to see in the next couple of days. Martha, shall we take a look? Expand. Phenomenal work. Look at this. Boom. It's got the reference note in there. Let's start from the bottom. Look, I love this. I love this. Again, how everyone does this, by the way, is all going to be different. Boom. Look at this. Creativity is birthed in the mind. Beautiful. And I love the simplicity of this. Look at that. All of this to get to this. I love it. And look, because Martha was so like, look how in depth she got, right? And because she got so in depth on this, it's like by the time you get to the literature notes, you're like, I understand what this author is saying. I get it. And not only do I get it, I can say it in my own words. And it's not a book report. It's not a summary. I'm taking what the author is saying and I'm going, yes, and this is what he means. This is what he means in my own words. And I know that this is in my own words because all of these fleeting notes don't go to waste. It's all information that's flowing upwards, crystallizing these thoughts. All tracked and recorded forever. So you can look back at this and go, how did I get this idea again? We're going to shift click permanent notes on the sidebar. We're looking for the word beginning. I think this was a parent level block, if I'm not mistaken. It is. Boom. Beginning. Again, don't be scared, by the way, everyone, to sort of collapse all and then see if this could fit anywhere else. Because I feel like this could actually fit. I know these aren't your notes. Like, a lot of them aren't. They're all everyone's notes. And I know it's kind of like strange territory. Like, well, do I want to continue this conversation? But that's the point. I mean, this could easily be a top-level parent block. But this idea that you're talking about here could also fit underneath writing or learning or happiness or thinking, if that makes sense. And if you're going to do that, just understand that the entire permanent note is going to change. Even the index is going to change. Because you're looking at all this information, then you're looking at the permanent notes page, and then you're going, where does this fit? And then you go, okay, I think it fits here. I'm just using it as an example, right? And you go enter, tab, and now you look back at all the indexes before, and then you go, okay, the next index is going to be blank, right? Blank, right? Or whatever the word, the index, confirmation bias, verified, right? And then you go, you don't write the permanent note now, or you don't write it here. You go, being informed by the fleeting literature and reference notes, I have a new index called verified. Now I will write a new permanent note saying verified from the information that I got from the fleeting and literature notes, if that makes sense. These are all information leading into the permanent notes page. I hope that's clear. It's more, I guess it's more conceptual than it is like, this is the step-by-step process. I should probably come up with a video for that. Anyways, let's go back over here. Beginning, perfect. If you want to move it, just understand that you have to delete all that. And you have to start, delete that, read through this again, and then look for another place that it could fit. And if you're going to do it, do it. You don't have to, though. But if you do want to. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I kind of want you to, Martha. I'm going to do yellow light. Because I feel like this information could fit in a deeper, like instead of a parent level block, I feel like it could fit inside to give it to give even more evidence to a conversation that's already going. And I kind of like that. I kind of want to see, like, just like you have all these branches, like this is a conversation from this point on. You see, it's a conversation. I kind of want to see that inside the Zettelkasten as well, because that's the traditional clustering. This, like, if these were all permanent notes, that would be, and it was happening. Like, let's take a look at what's a deep one here. I feel like, okay, this is short, but 1, 2, 3 levels deep. Okay, here's one. 1, 2, 3. Here's 4 levels deep, right? But then if you get the deeper you go into the conversation, is going to show you the original clustering. But because we're doing this in Rome, we have the second level of clustering here on the side as well. Let's take a look, actually. I kind of want to see. Okay, pursuit is at 20. Trust, 13. Learning, 14. Okay, so pursuit, learning, decision-making. It's so appropriate, by the way. And then thinking. So it's the pursuit of trusting and learning in decision-making, in thinking. Like, that's not a mistake. It's a direct representation of what we're going through. That's the inward curl that Luhmann was talking about. It's like it curls back into us, and it's this virtuous cycle of, like, it instantaneously shows us with every new permanent note that's been connected into our conversation partner, it's an immediate reaction to show us what we're thinking about. It's phenomenal. Again, I'm just, Martha, I'm just going to leave this with a yellow light. If you want to change this permanent note, if you don't want to, I'll take a look at it, but just do a green light. Let me know that you're done, and I'll get rid of the yellow light, if that makes sense. But great work, though. Structure-wise, you're all there. Christian, let's take a look. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. This actually might be too many. But it's judgment, so I guess it's fine. Okay. book. What is this? Leave notes. Expand everything. Obviously, you get it. Perfect. Shift click on this. I would be a little bit more specific on exactly what this is. Like I would do the block. And I know I'm being nitpicky here, but it's like you want to be able to just have it there. Because if I shift click on this, what is this? It just says the book. I don't know what that means. Like it should take you exactly to where it needs to go. Let's take a look at this. I think this is a quote from the book. Yep, here we go. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to copy this block reference, right? And you know how you have this set up? I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to do Command K, just like you had. And I'm going to do the title here, Chapter 10, 10.3, get the gist. And then I'm going to copy and paste this block reference here. And so then it's a little bit more specific on exactly where it's located. Again, this helps for when other people are traversing through. Because then all they need to do is go shift click and it's right there, all the information. I'm going to shift click permanent notes, take a look at this, and this is judgment. There we go. I think this is too many. I think this is too many link references. I mean, I'm just going to let you do it. What are you going to do? Future writers. Conceptual clarity. Let's take a look. Writing, conceptual clarity, judgment. Perfect. I mean, there's no rule. It's just you have to understand that if you do have more linked references, I like to have like 10 to 12 at the most. But if you do this, then it's like you have to scroll a little bit to get to the permanent note. But this is why I was talking about how like you only want to have certain things highlighted to you. So it's like you want the blue from the permanent notes and then the highlight from the yellow of the location of this right here, if that makes sense. But I mean, this is closed. This is closed, and this is closed, and then it's fine. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it because then you can still jump to other notes, if that makes sense. So, yeah. It's just aesthetically how you like it. I need a green light. Let's take a look. Okay. Christian, let's take a look again. Perfect. Amazon link. You have the page and you have that. Great. Look at this. This is great work. Let's take a look. Permanent notes page. This is friends. Happiness, social expectations, friends. Like how beautiful is that? God, that's so good. Thematic connection is all we're looking for. And then friends thinking, friends change. Friends change. Oh, friends mindless consumption. Friends change again. Okay, I think you have this one twice. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's just take a look. Yeah, you have double. Friends freedom, friends happiness, friends curiosity, friends understanding, friends zettelkasten, friends listening, friends deeper, friends learning, friends discordance, friends motivation, friends ideas, friends trust, friends working environment, friends pursuit, the pursuit of friends, friends judgment, friends conversation, friends intentionality, friends producer friends, friends purpose. I mean, jeez, that's the idea. You want to be able to stumble upon this later, and you never know when the connected idea is going to be helpful for you. And because it's all in a digital realm, it's like you don't have to worry about overloading anything. And the best part is we're not using linked references. Linked references and queries slow down Roam more than anything else, okay? These are block references. So basically what I mean by that is this is all that's, instead of having all this text, right? Instead of having all that text, it's this text. It's just referring back to a block. So it's easier on the system, especially once you start building this out. Again, there's still slowdowns, of course, when you go into the permanent node page. Like after you get to like 150, it starts slowing down, but it's still quicker than just having page references everywhere. Let's take a look. This is Mr. Glenn Burns. Let's take a look. All right. Okay, Nomadland. IMDb. Great. Look at this. So I think this is a phenomenal idea. Now, what BART was saying was, what if you had this, right? What if I did, let me just say Nomadland, right? Now, what if I created a page called Nomadland, right? And then I copied this information in there, right? And so this is, if you're doing sort of heavy, deep work in regards to like research papers, I don't see a problem with having this here. But then if you link that here, right, I don't know exactly, like I would let you figure this out, but as long as at the top level parent block you have the link to the exact source, then what you put inside as children blocks don't matter. But I think what BART is saying is, why don't you just, because if you're gonna have one location for all this information, then why don't you just have the page listed here? My only rebuttal to that would be, then you have to context switch by opening the page. When you're seeking the traversal of the Zettelkasten, then you need to switch your, because look, if this information was only in the page, then I would have to shift click on that, and then I've lost the page with all my Zettels, if that makes sense, because I've lost this, and so I'm traversing here, then I have to. So it's almost like I'm going down this path here, and I'm going down here, and I'm looking at all these things, and I end up here, and then I have to shift click on this. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. It's just understand that when you have a lot of permanent notes in the side, like the sidebar really slows down Roam, especially if you have like queries or lots of block references or link references in the sidebar. So I try to limit opening any other pages than just the pages that are necessary. Is this still recording? Yeah, it's still recording. If that makes sense. I would say test it out. I mean, I say master, like once everything clicks for you, BART, I'm talking to BART really. Once everything clicks for you, then go wild. But just get to that point first. Get to that point where it's like, oh my goodness, I see this traversal that's happening. Phenomenal work. Actually, sorry, Glenn, let's take a look. Actually, hold on, let's slow down. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. So, okay, I see what you did here. This is phenomenal. You better get to it. I love that you can source from anything. Listen, as long as you, like, I would actually add like somehow, because it looks like this is the entire film, right? But what if there was a specific moment to timestamp it? Just double check here. Yeah. See, yeah, if you had to like, I get what you're doing here, but there has to have been that one point where it resonated with you the most. And I'd like to find out what that was, because then maybe you could sort of timestamp it. Because what you want to do is you want to be able to go back to that exact moment, right? And so take a look at the screen and just go, okay, this is 1 hour and 10 minutes into the film. And then that way, when you need to go back to the source, you can pinpoint that exact moment. You can watch 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, if that makes sense. So it's just thinking about that as you're capturing as well. This is great. Let's open up permanent notes. Value. Oh, where it is? Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's right in front of me. Writing, purpose, value. Oh, so good. Just watch what happens when all these things combine. When everything just sort of like, oh, it's so good. Okay, awesome. How long am I at? 1 hour and 15 minutes. Obviously, this video, I got to upload tomorrow's video. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's just see if there's any for tomorrow here. See if anyone added anything. No, negative. Okay. And yeah, let's just keep going through. I might even do another video. Today's what? The 26th? This is actually the 27th video, or meant for the 27th. I might even do one for tomorrow. I mean, if everyone keeps adding it up, then I have time tomorrow anyways. I'll do another video sort of before the live session, but let's just keep adding permanent notes. And if you haven't added one yet, just I believe in you. You got this. Just we're all in this together now, and I think it couldn't have happened unless the first 28 days weren't difficult as hell. I admit it was difficult. And by this time, it's, you know, we've like people that were going to drop out, they dropped out. People that were, you know, just wanted the answers, they're gone, right? Everyone now is sort of in it to win it. And I think we need everyone's expertise, you know? We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and we need everyone to sort of, it's like we're not just, it's like one person has like this, right? But another person has this, but then another person has this, and it's like if you layer all those together, we can stop the dam 100%, if that makes sense. But each one of those pieces, like these are like the weak strengths is the hand itself. The weaknesses are all the empty spots. But then you layer that, and you layer that, and you layer that, and you layer that, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, and then it's walled up, you know. Yeah, this is powerful stuff. Anyways. If you have any questions, go into the chat room or go into the help desk or just shoot me a DM. Yeah, grateful to be on this journey with everyone here. And I will see you in the live session. If you can't make it to the live session, do your best to make it to this live session. I feel like this one's going to be a good one. Because by that time, I mean, we're at 60 permanent notes already. We'll hit 100 by this weekend. And I think it's important to feel what that feels like to travel without knowing where you're going to go. It's a very interesting thing. Anyways, I will see you tomorrow or Sunday. Ciao.